I guess I'm mostly on the side of disagreeing because I feel like I don't think that behind this presidency, I don't think that this country is headed towards a bright future. I don't think that under this presidency that we are going to stand united. I think that it is going to divide us even more and that it is dividing us. And I also don't think that this presidency is built on a love of all people. I feel like whenever I hear Trump specifically talk, there are notions of not black people specifically, but people of color being seen as murderers and rapists, and it's specifically targeted towards brown people. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, my question for you is, do you think this country, or do you think that Trump is going to do the American public right in the overall of his presidency?
Yes.
Okay. Are you worried about the state of this country under his presidency when it comes to economic setbacks, when it comes to another Great Depression, when it comes to stocks going down, et cetera, et cetera? Are you worried that
No.
he does not going to do anything like that?
I don't have those concerns. And by the way, inflation's going down and the price of eggs is going down, everybody, big time. But go ahead. I want you to thoroughly complete your argument, and then I'll say something.
Okay. I guess basically the point of my argument is, I think that President Trump, and I think that this country's view, especially when we're coming now into DEI and we're coming into defunding of Department of Education, we're coming to taking the Tuskegee Airmen out of being taught.
That has been reversed, just for the record.
Okay.
Tuskegee Airmen.
But there's been multiple other things besides Tuskegee, but also the whole debate on critical race theory, teaching slavery in schools, teaching Black history, et cetera, et cetera. These are things that are being targeted specifically when it took years and years to even get them in place. I think that this country is built on using the Bible, not even 100 years ago, to defame and to dehumanize Black people. There has been use of the Bible specifically when people used to come into the church and talk about how slaves should obey their masters, and how that's what the whole relationship between white and Black people were. I think
You are watching Marjorie with Purpose. I'm going to be watching this very interesting debate with this young Black woman and Charlie Kirk. She had brought up some pretty common concerns with the Black community in regards to the Bible and slavery and things of that nature. I am going to watch more of this, her argument and Charlie's response, and then I'm going to give my thoughts afterwards. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I go live. Let's get into this. Welcome.
Country specifically has a lot of racist rhetoric that is built in, that is not being targeted. I think that.
So let's try to find some common ground. Is that okay?
That's fine. That's fine.
Can you give me a definition of racism?
Racism in terms of, I will say, okay, before I
use the term,
yes,
so I want to make sure we're talking
fair.
about the same thing. Is that cool?
Yes, that's fair. I will say that I will state that I am biased because I will be speaking as a Black person specifically from the United States of America, and not anywhere else. But I will say racism is a discrimination against people of a minority. Okay, what is racism? Racism, without using the word.
Can't use the word racism.
Can't use the word. That's I'm trying. A discrimination against a minority class of people in order to create an unbalance in the society or a hierarchy based on something that is undetermined as of color, race, the color of your skin, or maybe even color of your skin.
Can you be racist against Asians?
Yes.
Can you be racist against white people?
I believe that you can have prejudice against white people, but in the
Lord, the ignorance of some of these niggers. I have heard so many Black people say that Black people cannot be racist. And this troubles me because it is a lie, straight from the pit of the hell of the enemy. Anyone and everyone can and is capable of being racist. It is discrimination toward another race based on their skin color. She made it so much more complicated than what it is. Anyone and everyone of any race is capable of racism and capable of being racist. And from my experience, Black people have become some of the most racist people. And a lot of it is attributed to trauma rather than just irrationality, self-hatred, lack of accountability. But that's just my thought. Let's continue with this. He asked an excellent question just to expose that she really doesn't know what she's talking about.
The way that this country was built and the way that this country has been founded and the way that there are many laws that have taken place, specifically like where you were talking earlier with the whole reparations debate, there are many legacies of white people in this country that...
Guys, okay, let's just all take a breath. Gigi's talking.
Which I also would like. I feel like that kind of comes into, yes, we're not all from this country. This is a country of immigrants. This is a country of people from other countries. So let me
give you an example.
Yes.
If a group of Black individuals, which happens unfortunately so often, say, we want to go beat up Whitey, and they go beat up a white person, was that a racist thing that they did?
I would have to ask for further context, but yes. Based off of that,
cool.
Yes.
So, but then let's go back to your definition, because your definition was that it had to be the exercise of power. I'm going to make your definition better for you, because the exercise of power against a minority group.
Yes.
But in that case, it wouldn't be, because it would be a group of Black individuals versus a white individual.
Correct.
So wouldn't a better definition of racism be a human being or institution prejudicing or stereotyping against anybody else because of their race?
I do agree that is a better there's a better definition in terms of how racism is used in society, in terms of setting people behind not having equal amounts of opportunities in these institutions, specifically colleges, jobs, et cetera, hospitals. But that is my point. I feel like in this country, we don't talk about enough. And I think that under this presidency...
Don't talk about what enough?
We don't talk about the history and the impact of long-term racism in this country against minorities.
Can I just press pause?
Yes.
That's all we've talked about the last 5 years. I mean, but hear me out. 1619 Project. We have entire Black dedicated channels on Pluto and Hulu and Netflix. We have reoriented the entire national dialogue towards, we had the President of the United States, Joe Biden, take a knee for Black Lives Matter, to have racial reconciliation seminars, to have nonstop race obsession. So I think we've talked about it thoroughly and properly.
So do you think that Black people in this country have equal opportunity and are treated equally as white
Absolutely.
people?
So let me prove it to you, okay? So Gigi and Charlie. What can Charlie do that Gigi can't do?
Okay, I don't know anything. I don't really know much about you. I don't know
Based on the
what
law.
you're capable of.
No, just on the law. What am I allowed to do on the law that you are not allowed to do on the law?
On paper, nothing.
That's equal opportunity and equal treatment, right?
On paper, yes, that is true.
And I also want to point out what he said about there being more than enough discussion about Black oppression. I totally agree with that. That's all we learned about in school. We didn't learn in school about what progress Blacks made, other than, you know, maybe the usuals, like, you know, Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman. We learned about, you know, Martin Luther King. We learned about W.E.B. Du Bois. You know, your regulars. We don't learn. They don't teach us about the Black people that were in government in the early 1800s. They completely leave that out of academia, public school academia. You don't learn about that stuff unless, and in some colleges don't even teach it, like as if they don't want Black people to know that even though many Blacks were slaves, many Blacks were also very successful during that time. Not all Black people were slaves during that period. Many of them had businesses and were political figures. They hide that. So that I do agree with. And so when we talk about this thing, systemic racism, the education system is absolutely a pinnacle for systemic racism. That's all you learn about in school, is that Blacks were slaves and white people were the slave masters. But they don't teach you that Native Americans had slaves. They don't teach you that some Black people had Black slaves, the wealthy. They don't teach you these things. They make it a black and white issue, as if almost they want us to be separated. It's a hard truth.
How is it the government's fault of why dads aren't around?
I mean, we could get into the whole, like, the rhetoric of crack babies and crack drug dealers.
So, but isn't it a decision to take drugs?
Oh, no, 100%.
So, and it's a decision to commit crimes.
Yes.
Okay, so the government didn't do that to them. People decided to take drugs.
That's true. But do you feel like these populations or these communities have, in statistics, been overly populated by police officers?
Well, so just, you seem like a really sweet person. So I don't want to try to be too intense. Is that cool?
Go ahead.
What percentage of America is Black? 13%, right? Yes. What percentage of the murders in America are committed by Black people?
I don't know the specific statistics.
Yes.
50%.
It's 50%.
It's 60%. So maybe when you do 60% of the killings and you're 13% of America, more cops should be around your neighborhoods.
But there's no cops, and there's not an equal number of cops in the white suburban neighborhoods, in the same neighborhood, the same neighborhoods that are controlling the coke. Like, they have cocaine in their houses, but it's not treated the same.
And this is okay, Gigi, because it really is flushing out our different worldviews. You look at cops as if they're there to catch you and get you. We look at cops as they're there to protect and serve and help us.
And that's only because in this country, I mean, police used to be able to drag Black people out in the streets and hose them down and sick dogs on them and tear them apart. And we never really had the conversation that where do we get away from that?
We definitely had the conversation. After George Floyd, the whole country blew up under the conversation. Okay.
Yes, but it was a big standing on, should cops be able to do this? It's almost as if when a black person is murdered by police or at the hands of the police, the bullet that came from a police officer's registered gun.
On average, how many times a year would you say a Black person killed by police?
I mean, at one point it was happening at least. Okay, if it was happening at least last year, it was going on about. It was at least a month that it was a major case. But in terms of the average city, I don't know the average city.
Right?
I know though, but
so
in terms of what actually makes it to major media, because not everything.
It's the Washington Post's own database, left wing, 10 Black individuals a year. So here's my contention. So you have a population that dads are not around, that is very, very murderous per population capita, that is very violent, more likely to be involved in gangs. And we, as conservatives, look at that and we say, wait a second, like, the problem is within the community. The problem is not the government. The problem is not the culture. The problem is not the history. Instead, really what needs to happen is Black leadership, Black pastors, and Black dads need to go into the Black community, and say, we're better than this. Cut the killing, cut the violence. Do you know the most, one more point.
Go ahead.
Who is, outside of heart disease and all that, what is the number one killer of black people in America?
Black people.
I know about like diabetes, but
fellow black people. A black person is far more likely to be killed by another black person than anything else. Black people are a greater threat to their own people.
Mercy.
has nothing to do with the government.
I would say, even in my own life experience, the individuals that I know who have been unalived throughout my lifetime were all unalived. Black people, black men, black women, unalived by other black people. Whether it's women being unalived by boyfriends, husbands, or men being unalived, as he mentioned, due to gang violence, revenge, things of that nature. I cannot count on one hand any one black person that I know that was unalived by someone outside of their race. In my own personal life experience, everything he said was absolutely correct.
So, Gigi, what I'm trying to do right now, I'm going to give you a warning, is prove that your own life experience is actually at odds with some of the things you're saying. Is that cool? So here you are at the University of Tennessee, correct? You're a student.
Yes.
You have the whole world as your oyster in front of you. You could study hard. You're going to graduate. You're going to do better than most people in probably the community you came from. Just guessing. I don't know your background, but based on how you're talking. How did the legacy of slavery get in your way?
I will say the legacy of slavery got in my way in the way that I am not a legacy child here. I would say that it got in my way in the way that my parents, my grandparents were not afforded the same, were not at one point even allowed to be on the property of this school. I think that is one of the things that has gotten into this way.
But you're here. It didn't get in the way. So here's the attitude I want you to adopt, Gigi, and I'll close with this. Instead of just looking at everything in the past that's wrong and bad through a victim lens, say, you know what?
It's still going on. Okay.
One sec. Say, you know what? I'm an American, and I'm going to use my mental energy to say, despite all of that, I get to succeed and flourish and prosper as a Black American at the University of Tennessee. You are a living embodiment, Gigi, that you can still succeed as a Black individual.
I would just disagree from the simple fact that I feel like there are a lot of barriers, there's a lot of obstacles, there's a lot of prejudice just in somebody might look at me and not even assume that I could
How
even
do you
get
know
into
what they're
the
thinking?
universe. I'm not saying that I know what people I don't know what people
You just
are
said
thinking.
that.
I'm saying I can assume from prejudices that I know exist in this country.
Hold on a second. I got to go time out. And you know what? If you walk around here and you go see, this happens all the time, and you see a white boy with the short shorts and kind of acting all, you might say he's only there because of his parents.
I don't think so.
Oh, it happens a lot at these Southern schools, right?
I mean, it happened. I mean, I was raised
So
in Michigan.
everybody has to overcome some form of bias, prejudice, or stereotyping. What's most helpful? Let's stop talking about it so much and talking about how we can apply ourselves to become better people and better citizens. Thank you so much, Gigi. Thank you. Thank you.
Although Gigi made a lot of good points, she continues to prove why so many Black Americans remain in victim mode, remain in a state where they can't progress. If I speak about myself and my husband, he and I both have personally witnessed murders, unalivings in our own neighborhoods. Literally, face to face, have seen people laid on the ground, shot. We have experienced, I grew up in a single parent home. We have, my husband has experienced friends not only dying by gunshot, but dying by car accidents and things of that nature, stealing vehicles and crime, that people unalive due to crimes that they themselves committed. I've experienced the violence in these Black communities. I've been jumped by Black women, Black girls, gotten into fights with Black women. I've never been in a fight with a white girl. Not to say it doesn't happen. I'm just talking about my own personal experience. We went to so many funerals when I was in high school. I refuse to go now due to gunshot wounds and people dying of heart attacks and all these things that Black folks was dying from. So I don't go to funerals. And I said all that to say that regardless, like he said, despite all of that, I still managed to be married. We've been married 19 years now. Praise be to God. We have 3 children, healthy children who have never been to jail. We're very capable of becoming grandparents. I have an almost 17-year-old, an almost 19-year-old, and an almost 24-year-old. And at any point in time, any one of these children could make us grandparents. But we are not. We have managed to keep our home. We've been here 17 years. And like he said, I have a college degree. My husband has his accomplishments and trades and things of that nature, and has managed to keep jobs all since I've known him. So as he said, Black folks fail because they choose to, not because of the oppression of their environment, but because of the decisions they make throughout their lives, because they choose to make bad decisions. They choose to sleep around. They choose to reject Jesus. So many Black folks choose to reject the Bible, choose to reject the word of God because they believe it's a white man's rhetoric. That's a whole other discussion for another day. But so many Black people reject the Bible, even church people who want to call themselves Christians and end up really just being chinos, Christian by name only. And not that this is only an issue in the Black community. This is an issue in Christianity in general. So many Christians don't read the word. So many Christians don't believe the word and reject Christ as Lord and Savior. So I think that is the primary issue in many Black communities, that people speak Christianese but don't have personal relationships with the Lord. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit the like button. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time I go live and post. And thank you for watching this with me. Pray, pray, pray every day, all day. And I love you guys. Deuces.